I would like to welcome you all once again into today's session, which is again relating to basic concepts of Income Tax Act 1961. Now, this is in continuation to the earlier session. Now, अगर आप लोगों ने फर्स्ट वीडियो नहीं देखा तो मेरा पहला वीडियो भी देखिए, बिकॉज ये सारे टर्म्स जो है वो दे आर इंटरलिंक्ड. So if you have not seen my earlier video, then please उसको पहले देख लीजिए और फिर उसके बाद जो है वो आप इस वीडियो को देखिए. So I would like to discuss some more important terms of Income Tax Act 1961. Now today my first concept is the meaning of gross total income. Gross total income. Now, in order to compute gross total income, we have to compute net incomes under 5 heads. So, section 14 says that there are 5 heads of income. First one is salaries. Second one is income from house property. Third one is income from business or profession. Then income from capital gains. Then income from other sources. These are the 5 heads of income. First one is salaries. We have to first of all find out net salary. In order to compute net salary income, first of all we have to find out what is the gross salary. From the gross salary income, if you give deductions under section 60, we will get net salary. Now we have to compute net income under these 5 heads. So that means first of all we have to find out net salary, net income from house property, net income from business profession, capital gains, net and income from other sources. So first step is to compute net incomes under 5 heads. Now if we have computed net incomes under 5 heads, we will get gross total income. So gross total income means the net incomes under 5 heads. Now another term is total income. What is the meaning of total income? Total income. This is section 2 subsection 45. Total income. Now how to compute total income of an assessee? First step is to find out what is gross total income. So gross total income, as you know, net incomes under 5 heads. So first of all we have to find out gross total income under 5 heads. Then we have to consider cases relating to clubbing of income. Clubbing of income. So consider cases relating to clubbing of income, whereby an assessee has to pay income tax on others' income. Then next step is set off and carry forward of losses. So make an adjustment with regard to set off and carry forward of losses. That means what does it mean, carry forward and set off losses? Set off losses means that if there is a loss from one head, loss from one head may be set off against income from another head. Suppose there is a loss from house property, loss from house property may be set off against income from business profession. Or if there is a loss from business or profession, it can be set off against income from other sources. So make an adjustment. So set off losses from one head against the income from another head. And what is the meaning of carry forward of losses? If even after setting off losses from one head against the income of another head, there is unabsorbed loss, that unabsorbed loss will be carried forward to subsequent year and can be set off the losses relating to the next year's income. So make an adjustment regarding set off and carry forward of losses. After that, whatever amount you will get on from that amount, if you give deductions under sections 80C to 80U, you will get total income, or you may say you will get net income, or you may say taxable income. So this is treated as your total income, net income or taxable income. So tax liability arises on this figure. So apply the slabs which are given in under Income Tax Act, and on the basis of various slabs you will have to calculate income tax liability of an assessee on the total income or on the net income or on the taxable income. I think you people are familiar with the term gross total income and the total income. So there is a difference between total income and gross total income. Then another important term that is known as the meaning of an income. What is the meaning of an income? This is section 2 subsection 24, meaning of income. Now all these terms are different: gross total income, and income. Now meaning or term income is discussed under section 2 subsection 24. Now although income tax is a tax on the income of an assessee, but Income Tax Act has not defined the term income precisely and exhaustively. It has given an inclusive definition of the term income, that there are certain items which have been given under section 2 subsection 24, they are treated as income. So list of those items which are given under section 2 subsection 24 is given, and these items are treated as income. Now list is not precise and exhaustive. That means if any term or if any item is not given under income under section 2 subsection 24, that means it is not treated income. No, that is also treated as income. So that is why list is not precise and it is not exhaustive. So it means that there are certain items, there are various other items are also there, which although are not given in the list of section 2 subsection 24, they are still treated as income for the purposes of tax liability of an assessee. Now right now I think you people will not be able to understand the items which have given under section 2 subsection 24, because these are very technical terms, and all these technical terms, they have been discussed under 5 heads of income. I will give you few examples of those items which have been specifically mentioned under section 2 subsection 24, like profits and gains, bonus, commission, then voluntary contribution received by trust or by charitable institutions, then perquisites, allowances given to an employee, then any sum received under Keyman insurance policy scheme, then income from lotteries, crossword puzzles, gambling, betting, etc. These are some of the items which have been given under section 2 subsection 24. These items have been discussed under 5 heads. So right now you will not be able to understand this term income, but after discussing various heads of income, I think if you go through section 2 subsection 24 or the definition of income, you will be able to understand it in a better way. So right now I would like to tell you some important principles regarding the taxability of income. And what are the principles of income? These are the principles of income. First one is source of income is not important. Source of income is not important. Second one is lump sum payments. Lump sum payments are also treated as income. Lump sum payments are also treated as income. Income may be received either in cash or in kind. Then next one is income is taxable. Income is taxable on due basis or on receipt basis. Then disputed incomes are also taxable. Disputed incomes are also taxable. Then pin money is not treated as income. Now let us discuss these points relating to income, relating to chargeability of income. First one is source of income is not important. Source of income may be legal or it may be illegal. So income tax authorities are not concerned how income is earned by assessee. It has to see only whether there is income or not. If there is income, it is taxable. So that is why income from smuggling is also taxable, because income tax authorities are not concerned with the source of income. Then lump sum payments are taxable. Income may be received either on monthly basis or on half yearly basis or on annual basis, or even lump sum payments like provident fund paid to an employee at the time of his retirement. That is also treated as income and it is taxable. Then income is received either in cash or in kind or by passing cross entries. So income may be received either in cash, like allowances they are received in cash, then perquisites they are received in kind, and cross entries they are also treated as income. So income may be received either in cash or in kind or by passing cross entries. Then income is taxable either on due basis or on receipt basis. If you have taxed income on due basis, then again it will not be taxable on receipt basis. Or if you have taxed income on receipt basis, again it will not be taxable on due basis. Then disputed incomes are also taxable. For instance, there is a dispute regarding the ownership of house property. It is also taxable. So disputed incomes are also taxable. Pin money received by wife from her husband is not treated as income. Then one more point is that entity of the buyer and seller should be distinct. It should not be one and the same. If a person is having two shops at two different places, like he is having one shop at Connaught Place and other shop he is having at Karol Bagh, if he transfers certain goods from Connaught Place shop to Karol Bagh shop, that is not treated as income because entity of buyer and seller is same, it is not distinct. But if shareholder transfers certain goods to the company of which he is a member, it is treated as transfer, and if there is any profit or gain, that is treated as the income, because entity of the shareholder and the company is not one and the same, it is distinct. So these are the points relating to the chargeability of income. I think आप लोग को सबको समझ में आया होगा आज का लेक्चर मेरा. कुछ अगर डाउट्स हैं तो वो डाउट्स आप जो है वो कमेंट सेक्शन में जाइए, मुझे उस डाउट्स को अपने बताइए मुझे, सो दैट मैं उन डाउट्स को क्लियर कर सकूं और आपको और बेटर वे में आपको आपकी क्वेरीज को सॉल्व कर सकूं. और अगर आपको मेरा सेशन ये समझ में आया है, लेक्चर समझ में आया है, तो आप इसको जो है वो शेयर करिए, लाइक करिए, और नेक्स्ट टाइम जो है वो और भी इंटरेस्टिंग वे में इनकम टैक्स को समझेंगे, और इसको जो है वो इजी मेथड के थ्रू हम लोग समझेंगे, और उसको डिफ़िकल्ट की नई पेपर समझेंगे। कमेंट कीजिएगा और इसको शेयर कीजिएगा, और मुझे अपने क्वेरीज ज़रूर बताइएगा, सो दैट आई कैन इम्प्रूव माई लेक्चर।